Hey gang, AV here, and welcome to my review of the Hiya Toys Predator 2 Battle Damaged City Hunter. Here he is in the box. It's a window box, so you can see the majority of his accessories right through the box. You can see the figure itself. Here's the box from the side. Here's the box from the back. Feel free to pause the video and read that if you wish. Here's the box from the other side. There's the box from the top. There's the box from the bottom. And without further ado, let's get them out of the box and see what the figure's all about. I have cut the tape prior to the video and actually removed the figure earlier yesterday, prior to making the video. And as usual, we're gonna have a look at the insert card first. This is the standard insert card. It comes with all the Predator figures. It was actually in the box upside down, but there you see it's basically the Predator in a shadow. It's just a background card. There's nothing on the back. That's all there's to say about that. There's also a product leaflet behind the card in the package, which shows you several of the other Predators also available by Hiya Toys. Some of these are already available, some of them aren't. Some of them are on pre-order. All right, and that's it for the box. Let's get the figure out of his plastic tray. Now, there was a happy accident with this one. I actually got 2 additional accessories with this figure. They were just packed in by accident at the factory, I think, because it was factory sealed when I got it. So I did get an extra spear and an extra breathing mask, and I will show the accessories off in turn. I think we'll start with the spear. We're going to start with the long spear first. And as you can see, there's a lot of really nice molded detail as well as painted detail on these. They're all basically the same sculpt, near as I can tell, with the other Predator figures that I have. But the paint jobs really do go a long way into making them look and feel unique to each Predator. So what they're doing, it's working. It's really nice. It's a good accessory, good spear. As you can see, it even has barbed edge. Barbed edge is really cool. It's actually early in the morning when I'm filming this. I had just recently woken up and my coffee hasn't fully kicked in yet, so if I seem a little out of it, that's why. He comes with 1 spear. Like I said, I got an additional short spear and an additional breathing mask with mine. Yours, there's only a spot in the tray for 1 each, so I think it was just an accident for me. But anyway, here's one of the collapsed spears. As you can see, it has the same basic painted colors as the long spear. It's just a shorter version, a collapsed version, and it has a lot of good molded detail on it as well. The breathing mask we'll have a look at once I get the figure out of the tray. I actually did not remove the tape from this section yet, so bear with me. Okay. I'll take both of these out now. Get the tape out of here. All right. So as you can see, this is his cutting disc or throwing disc, whichever you'd like to call it. It has some nice molded detail on the front and the back, both of which are different. And as you can see, it also has some molded in holes in there. Those are for his fingers to be laced through. You basically take his open hand here and, or maybe the other hand. Nope. Got to be this hand if he's going to use it, and I don't know if he can. The other Predator figures I have, they have a more relaxed hand instead of being quite so outstretched. That's the hand I typically use when I utilize this accessory. This hand might be a little too extreme for that, and I don't want to bend the fingers out of whack a little too much just to get this on there. So not sure if you can actually pose them with this, unfortunately. You may have to save this for your Danny Glover figure. Let's take that off to the side so we can see how well it fits on the figure once I get him out. This is his shoulder-mounted cannon, as tiny as it is, and I will also demonstrate this on the figure once I get him out. This fits on a track on his back. Like I mentioned before, he comes with 2 additional hands. They're both right hands, and the reason for that is because he does not have a left arm. This is the battle-damaged version. Just like in Predator 2 movie, he lost his left arm, so he doesn't need left hands. Just has right hands. But anyhow, you can see very nice painted detail even on the hands. They did not scrimp on the detail at all. And let's see, he's also got the figure base. This is the standard figure base for all the Predator figures. It's got a foot peg, single foot peg on there, and then it has, he comes with 2 of these H-shaped connection tabs. I can never get these out of the package. Longtime viewers of this channel know that. They delight in watching me struggle getting these out. But anyhow, they just plug into the base like that. You can connect them to other bases in the line to create a floor for a nice seamless diorama. It's really a nice touch. I applaud these things every time I take them out of the package. I'm very happy to see these. Figure bases are never bad, but interactive ones are even better. And I'll take the figure out and just to demonstrate the breathing mask. It's a nice piece. And I think it's the only way I could get it on was to slide it underneath his upper jaws and allow them to hold it in place. Not sure if the upper jaws are supposed to fit in there as well. On my particular copy, it does not. But when you slide them underneath the jaws, it stays on fine. If this connects somewhere, I haven't found it. If there's a port on his armor for that, I don't know where it is. I haven't been able to locate it yet. But that's it. I like the new accessories. Very cool. Let's finish them off. Get that out of the way. Let's demonstrate his disc here. There's a spot on his belt for that. If you look on the belt, it kind of helps you determine where it goes. There's a small circle, so obviously that side's going to go flat against it, and if you line the holes up, with the pegs, which is easier said than done, and quite frankly, something I frequently struggle with. Especially on this one, man. This is proving to be a little tougher than usual here. But those 2 pegs are supposed to fit into the finger holes on this disc, and I'm having trouble getting them lined up. And if you've watched my other videos, even when I do get it lined up, the disc itself falls out pretty frequently. Only on 1 or 2 of my examples have I been able to actually get it in there to stay and everything. It does go in there, but I don't know if I'm going to have the patience to do it during this review, so you may have to take my word for it. Because it's not really cooperating with me right now. I think I've got it lined up. I'm using the mold on the inside of the thing as a guide, but it's just not working for me. Okay, let's go on. Let's move on to his shoulder cannon. It does go in there. Take my word for it. It's just not an easy fit, and then even when it is in there, it has a tendency to fall out too. So that's how you do his shoulder cannon. Slides right into that slot on his armor, and you can use your finger to slide it up and forward. It does kind of get lost in his I always say tentacles, in his dreadlocks, but still, I love the fact that they include it. It's a really nice touch. Let's get that back in there. Get these back, and let's have a look at the figure himself. Now, he does have one other weapon, which I have not talked about yet, and that's permanently attached to the figure. It's his Gauntlet Claws, and they do extend from the gauntlet. Very cool. Let's have a look at the figure himself. Take in some of the details. See if I can move the light a little bit. I did not order this online. I actually stumbled into a comic shop recently, and because I was a few towns over from where I usually live, and when I'm usually away from home, I use the comic shop locator. It's just something I do. I like to see what else is out there. I don't really collect comics anymore, but I still do that because comics sell things besides comics. And I saw this guy in the store for, $20. I was like, okay. Seeing him in person, it was very hard to turn him down. I was coming home with him. I was on the fence ordering them online, but very glad I have them now. So anyhow, I really need to have my coffee before I start making these videos. I'm rambling on. All right. So anyway, here is his articulation before I get off track again. So his head is on a ball joint. You can look down quite a ways and look up, sorta. Not too bad, actually. He can do a full 360, even though he's got all these dreadlocks. They're made of a nice soft plastic, so they don't hinder his articulation at all. He does have shoulder armor, which does affect his ability to raise his arms up. I mean, the hinge is there, but it fights you, especially on that arm. This arm is a little bit more forgiving, but still, you're not going to get much of a range of motion out of it. The arms can do a full 360. They can swivel at the upper bicep. And even this arm, does have a single jointed elbow, which is pretty cool. I'm going to continue the articulation on this side for obvious reasons. He has a swivel joint at the top of his gauntlet, so you can spin the gauntlet wherever you'd like. And his hand is on a ball joint, so you get a good range of motion there, but no real hinge. It's just a ball joint. You can just rock it in different positions. He has an ab crunch, which works quite well. Gets a good range of motion out of it. You can bring him up for a roar, or make him look down at a Joe, G.I. Joe. You know, swivel. It's a good range of motion there. Nothing at the top of the hips, I don't believe. Nothing at the waist. If it is, it's hopelessly frozen on mine. I don't think he has one, though. His legs spread about that far. He can lift his leg, do a can about like that. He has an upper thigh swivel, so you can swivel his leg. That's always a very delicate joint, though, so be careful. Double hinged knees. Ankles can do a full 360. They also pivot forward, and they pivot back. There's a very good range of motion on this figure, as always. This is a really good line. It does have issues with paint and frozen joints. Painted and frozen joints, but for the most part, these figures are great. And as I've said in previous videos, the detail, the accessories, and the sculpt, it's worth the risk in my opinion, even though you may have one or two issues here or there when you open them up. I do feel it is worth the risk. Let's do a size comparison now. Here he is next to a modern 4-inch G.I. Joe. As you can see, he's considerably taller, and he should be. Predators are about 7 feet tall, so they should be noticeably taller than a G.I. Joe figure. They are in true 1/18 scale, so they are supposed to be taller. He's giving me issues. He doesn't want to stand up now. There you are. And here he is next to a vintage G.I. Joe. He is, again, taller than the vintage G.I. Joes at 3 3/4 inches. Whether or not he's too tall for that scale, that's up to you. Frankly, since he's supposed to be taller, I think he would work with both. Before we go, let's just get his spear in his hand, just to prove that it's possible. And, oops. I'm always afraid of bending the claws when I put items in the right hand, because they are a soft plastic. But it is possible. So, very cool figure, and this has been my review of the Predator 2 Battle Damage City Hunter from Hiya Toys. I really do like this figure. I love the paint job. I love the homage to the film. I think it's an accurate representation of the damage that he did go through during that movie. I think it's great. He really does come highly recommended, and even though there have been issues with the line, on this particular figure, I haven't had any of those issues at all. So maybe, the farther the line goes, maybe they are correcting those mistakes that I had in previous figures. So I'm looking forward to getting more of these things, and I recommend that you do the same. So this has been AV. If you like this video, check out my channel. If you like what you see there, then please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching.